Israel Prime Minister meets Putin in Moscow, speaks with Zelensky by phone. This news from France 24 in English. طبعا رئيس وزراء إسرائيل في موسكو في محادثات مع بوتين لعله يشكل وساطة بين أوروبا أو الغرب و أوكرانيا، بلاش نقول الغرب، يعني أوكرانيا وروسيا، لأن هو الشرق الأوسط ودي أول زيارة لدولة من الشرق الأوسط تتدخل عشان تحل النزاع أو الكونفليكت اللي هو between Russia and Ukraine. And Israel has good relations between both Ukraine and Russia. There is diplomacy needs for Russia of Israel and Russia because of the Syria and Damascus, and Ukraine is very important for Israel because the trade, the tourists, like Egypt also has the same situation. I think we have tourists from Russia and from Ukraine, and same thing, we have trade and commerce. We import agriculture things and oil, food, like oil or food from Ukraine, and the bread. So I hope this visit of the Prime Minister of Israel could reach for some solution for the conflict. Moreover, there is another visit tomorrow from the foreign minister of Israel to an Arab country, where they will visit USA diplomacy there. So I think there'll be a solution in near future. I pray for Jesus to save these countries and save the people. Korean people are kind people, and they are neighbors, and should let's watch this video.
We actually know very little. We didn't know before he went on the Jewish Sabbath. It was secretive. We know that the talks lasted 3 hours. There's no picture, so we don't even know if it was one of those long tables a la Emmanuel Macron. And we don't know the content. What we do have is a lot of speculation. We know that Israel has long argued that it's good to have someone who has a foot in both camps, that deals with both Ukraine and Russia. I heard a former head of the Mossad arguing today that every chance is worth it. It could be like the Cuban Missile Crisis in the 1960s, providing Russia with a ladder to climb down. That's presuming Russia wants a ladder to climb down. I think the Russian interest in this is that they have argue that they are fighting a government of a special operation, not even a war, of course, a government of neo-Nazis. This despite the fact that the Ukrainian president and the defense minister are both Jewish. And I think meeting the head of the Jewish state kind of bolsters somehow that Russian narrative.
Now, Iris, it's fair to say that Israel has been criticised recently for not actually following in the footsteps of the wider West in imposing sanctions, for example, or doing more to end this war.
Yes.
Has this therefore been a trip aimed at deflecting that criticism?
I think there is something in that, yes, but Israel also has quite a lot of skin in the game. There are something like more than 1 million migrants here from Russia and the former Soviet Union. The government minister who is translating at that meeting for the Prime Minister was born in Kharkiv. His mother still lives there. It's very entwined here. There are tens of thousands, perhaps 100,000 Jewish Ukrainians who want to get out right now. There are Israelis still inside Ukraine. So all of that that's one aspect. The other aspect, of course, is the Iran nuclear deal. That's something that's very important both to Israel and to Russia. Israel also has dealings with Russia. Russia is on its northern border inside Syria. They have daily, constant military dealings with Russia. So all those things make Israel into perhaps not even a good mediator because it's such an interested party.
Iris Makler, our correspondent in Jerusalem, thank you so much for being with us.
If you're trying to lose belly fat, stop doing cardio. This sounds kind of backwards, right?